This is Jason from Laundry List, and it's been a month since we replaced smaller Speed Queen washers with larger capacity LG washers. The smaller Speed Queen washers were generating $5.25 for the exact same space that these washers are now generating $9.75. So let's find out how my customers responded to these new washers. Were they getting used, or were they not happy because they wanted to use smaller washers? We're going to look at several metrics. The first metric will be revenue increase or decrease. The second metric will be the number of overall transactions. And the third metric will be the average increase or decrease in the transaction amount. At 2 weeks, revenue had increased 14.7%. Now at a month in use, revenue is up 21.4%. The total number of transactions at 2 weeks was down 4.6%. At 1 month, the total number of transactions is down, I'm going to round up and say 1%. It's 0.8%. So basically, transactions are almost at break even. At 2 weeks, the average transaction amount increase was 22%. At 1 month, the average transaction increase is now 23%. So not much of a change there, but I definitely like where things are trending. The average transaction amount increase includes dryer transactions. If I take out the dryer transactions and just isolate it to the wash transaction amount is up 41%, which definitely reflects going from $5.25 for this space to $9.75 for the same space. So the number of times the machine's being used is virtually the same, but now the revenue for that space is nearly double every time someone does a wash. If you find these videos useful and want to help me out, please subscribe to the channel and like the video.
As a laundromat owner, how do you know when to invest in new equipment, which equipment to buy, and how much to invest?
Well, the very first piece of equipment that I invested in was this large Speed Queen washer. It is a triple load. This machine generates $12.25 per load. Within the first month, this machine was generating twice as many transactions as any machine in this laundromat and 3 times the revenue in the first month. My approach to investing in large machines was conservative. This machine, all in, by the time you deal with install, setup, plumbing, electrical, this is over $15,000. So I wanted to make sure that my customers were going to be receptive to this machine and that my investment was going to be well worth it. I didn't want to invest in a lot of large machines because I wanted to see firsthand how my customers responded, because I was happy with the results. Within 1 year, I bought a second one, and it was also performing exactly the same. Twice as many transactions, 3 times the revenue of any other machine in the laundromat. The issue I have with the large Speed Queen washers is they're 1,000 pounds and they take up a massive footprint. As a small laundromat, and I mean 1,000 square feet, I needed to do some research to figure out what kind of machine can give me good capacity size with a small footprint. So after researching, I came up with these LG machines. Now they're fairly new in the United States, like within the last few years, so they're not widely distributed amongst laundromats. I didn't want to purchase 7 or 8 of them immediately because I wanted to see how my customers responded. And I also wanted to find out if I was happy with the machine. So I invested in one. The same exact thing happened. It was double the revenue of the small machine it replaced. For the LG brand, because it was new in the US and I hadn't seen them in any other laundromat, after a year of having an LG machine, I was really happy with it. The machine itself was extremely reliable. It's the only machine in the entire laundromat where I never had one issue with it. So I knew the reliability, at least for that machine, was there. The concern was, well, I only have 3 big machines, so of course the 3 big machines are going to get used.
These 3 big machines were only 17% of my total washers.
When I invested in these 7 new LG larger machines,
my ratio was going to go from 17% to 55% of my washers were going to become large capacity machines.
Which in the end really means they're practically $10 for a wash. So now I was getting rid of a lot of the smaller washers that were only $5.25. And I didn't know if my customers were going to be receptive to that or not. Turns out, so far, they are receptive. This is a great example of the machines in use. I try to pick quiet times to be in the laundromat, But as you can see, more than half of these new machines are in use. So is the most popular, biggest machine I have. It is true, the larger machines you have, the more money you should make. I never believed it when I first bought my laundromat. I am living proof now that larger machines does increase your overall revenue. So a month into the process, and I'm pretty happy with the way things are trending. I will give you an update at the end of the year. The other benefit to these new machines is I'm waiting to see my utility bills. I want to see if my water and sewage usage has decreased. I want to see if I'm saving on electricity as well, because that would be a great benefit to getting big machines. Is overall, it helps get a return on your investment. If you find these videos useful and want to help me out, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. This is Jason from Laundry List, the best place for brainwashing.